In 1966, Boeing CEO made a bet that nearly destroyed the entire company. He agreed to build an aircraft twice the size of anything that had ever flown in 28 months, with technology that did not yet exist, for an airline that needed it to work perfectly on the very first flight. If he failed, Boeing would go bankrupt. He did not fail, and the aircraft he built changed the world more than almost any machine in human history. This is the story of the Boeing 747.
The year was 1965. Pan American World Airways CEO Juan Trippe had a problem. Air travel was exploding. His Boeing 707 jets were full on every single flight, but tickets were still too expensive for ordinary people. Trippe called Boeing CEO Bill Allen and made him a proposal. Build me an aircraft that carries 400 passengers, twice what any jet carries today. Make it so efficient that I can cut ticket prices in half, and I need it flying by 1970. Allen asked for a weekend to think. On Monday morning, he called back with one word: done. Neither man fully understood what they had just agreed to. No aircraft of that size had ever been designed. No factory existed to build it. No engine existed to power it. Everything had to be invented from scratch.
Boeing chose a site in Everett, Washington, and built the largest building by volume ever constructed on the face of the earth. The factory was so large that clouds formed inside it before the air conditioning system was completed. It rains inside the Boeing Everett factory. Over 50,000 people worked on the 747 program at its peak, a workforce larger than many small countries' armies. The engineers faced problems nobody had solved before. At the size of the 747, standard aircraft windows would require frames so thick they would add thousands of kilograms of unnecessary weight. The solution? Oval windows with no traditional frame, a design still used on every commercial aircraft today. The wing was so large, 68 meters tip to tip, that the entire fuselage of a Boeing 707 could fit inside it. The upper deck hump, that distinctive shape everyone recognizes, was not designed for first class. It was designed to allow the nose to open upward so that cargo could be loaded straight into the fuselage. The passenger upper deck was added later, almost as an afterthought.
With 6 months to go before the first flight deadline, the engines failed. Pratt and Whitney's JT9D turbofan, the most powerful commercial engine ever built at that time, kept overheating, surging, and shutting down during tests. Boeing had 29 completed 747 airframes sitting on the Everett tarmac with no working engines to put in them. Pan Am was threatening to cancel the entire order. Boeing had borrowed so much money for this program that a cancellation would have meant immediate bankruptcy for the entire company. Bill Allen later said those were the worst months of his life. The engineers worked around the clock, 7 days a week, for 4 straight months. They solved the engine problem 9 weeks before the first flight. On February 9, 1969, the Boeing 747 lifted off from Payne Field in Everett for the first time. The test pilots reported it flew like a dream. Pan American Flight 1 departed New York JFK on January 22, 1970, the first commercial 747 service. 336 passengers on board, the largest group of people ever to board a single aircraft up to that point in history. The 747 cut transatlantic ticket prices by more than half within 5 years of entering service. For the first time in history, ordinary working people could afford to fly across an ocean. The 747 did not just change aviation, it changed the world. It made international tourism possible for the middle class. It created the modern global economy by making air freight fast and affordable. It connected families separated by oceans. Over 1,500 Boeing 747s were built across a production run of 54 years, the longest in commercial aviation history. The last Boeing 747 rolled off the Everett production line on February 1, 2023. 54 years after that first impossible flight, the aircraft that was never supposed to exist finally said goodbye. But right now, hundreds of 747s are still flying, still carrying the world. Follow for more untold stories from the history of aviation.